In this video, I'll be talking about the main stages leading up to possession, from initial experiences leading up to an entity entering your body, and then from them entering your body to complete possession. I refer to them entering your body and taking residence as possession, but complete possession is when they have taken complete control of your body and you yourself lose control and autonomy. This doesn't happen the moment they enter you, but it takes a couple of weeks to months depending on how powerful the spirit is and their experience. The process of being taken over completely can be quickened by you giving them more energy through masturbation or sex, or by being in increased lucid psychotic states like taking hallucinogenic drugs like mushrooms, weed, LSD, DMT or ayahuasca, and even alcohol. The first initial stage consists of negative entity attachment that I've discussed in other videos on my channel. There are natural barriers between you and spiritual beings that prevent them from possessing you in the early stages of entity attachment. Over time, entities will try to use various means to try and get you by trying to make your body and mind rise in resonance to the point where you and them are on the same plane in a wakeful state so they can enter your body, your physical body. They will also be reliant on any pre-existent conditions you may have that will cause you to rise in resonant frequencies. For example, in my case, I had OCD, which doctors felt could be psychosis and later was diagnosed as such, which consisted of negative intrusive thoughts, and a lot of them. I basically had racing negative thoughts that would increase in amount every year, and with the thoughts, I would have to do mental corrections to try and ease the fear of negative thoughts hurting people close to me. This constant repetition and emotional stress resulted in certain parts of my brain that relate to spiritual realms and energy increasing in proficiency, which eventually led to huge energetic backlashes if I had mental conflicts in my mind, which would lead to me being hit with physical sensations of waves of energy hitting me. After processing large amounts of this energy, I would rise in resonance as my body would have to get used to this phenomena, and as this kept happening, my spiritual abilities would grow, and with that my vulnerability to the astral realms. As I couldn't control my thoughts and what I was receiving and outputting, I now know I became pretty visible on the astral plane and a target for entity attachment. Also, with the trauma from all this hysteria, it resulted in etheric astral implants breaking off of me, which also alerted entities that were already attached to me. The breaking of such implants also made me rise in resonance, and also the forced openings of some of my chakras. This all resulted in me rising in resonance, and because of that, the entities attached to me had a greater influence over me and would put astral pills in my throat, as I could now perceive such objects as we were getting closer to being on the same plane. They would enter my dreams more and would put me into sleep paralysis more. Typically, sleep paralysis is easier for them to get you in if you lie on your back, but as entity attachment grows, they can catch you between sleep even when you lay on your side, and even stab you during sleep paralysis. If you are at these later points of high resonance, entities will try their hardest to get to you and manifest on the same plane as you. They will try various ways of pouring their essence into you to try and get you to rise in resonant frequencies and be on the same plane as you. In my case, because of the trauma I had from my OCD and dealing with all that energy, my crown chakra was forced open, and the cap on the top of my head was blown off, astrally of course. This resulted in soul loss, as a part of my soul that fractured, resulting in loss of emotions. This also made it easier for entities to get in closer proximity to me. With a hole now being present on the top of my head, I could feel an entity trying to hit me with waves of energy on my head. It took 9 years of OCD to get to my crown bursting, and 3 years from my crown opening and worsening OCD psychosis for it to get to the point where I was on the same plane as them, viable for possession. Also, entities will also be reliant on you making mistakes, like buying objects like statues and tarot cards, etc., as they can use these as portals to get to you directly. In my case, I bought statues of Greek gods and put my Reiki aura into them, which led to them being summoned and being attached to me on the same plane as me. If I had bought these statues at any other point in my life, nothing would have happened, as I didn't have the ability to output aura out of my hands, and my body was not at the same plane, on the same plane as them. At this stage, they were now in my presence fully and attached to me, so they could now touch me in a way they couldn't before. As before, when they touched me, it will be in a lucid state. It will be in lucid states where they would slap me or push me. But now it was fully like a physical person was touching me. They would shock, sting, burn, and touch me. I later became aware that the reason they touched me when on the same plane is to keep your attention on them, as when you don't focus on them, their ability to stay on the same plane as you, so close to you, weakens, and they begin to fade. Sleep paralysis also got worse, a lot worse, as they were on the same plane as me and could get me in any position I laid in. From this point, they knew what to do and took advantage of my ignorance and started to pour this thick cloud of energy down my crown that had been opened on top of my head, astrally, of course. This was to make me rise in further resonance and make my body enterable, as any other time before, when you are not vulnerable to possession. When an entity tries to enter your body, they will pass right through you, and this will cause your body to shiver and shake, as they are not on the same plane as you. After several weeks of doing this and torment, they will enter your body when you are awake. Only one of the several entities enter me, as the other entities are not all at the same stage of attachment to you and will enter your body at a later time. That's when you get a legion within you. They may be able to enter you when you are sleeping, but in my case, they did so when I was awake, through my left shoulder and buried deep into my spine and spread like roots from the base of my spine outwards. From this point onwards, when the entity inside of my body began talking to me from inside of my body, the muscle or part of my body she was talking from would move in relation to her speech, like how Sukuna talks out of the side of Yuji's face in Jujutsu Kaisen. Over several days, the places she would talk from inside my body would grow, and at this stage, I would feel my toes being moved and touched from inside my body, like they were being pressed, like piano keys or a keyboard. Eventually, this led to her opening the barriers in my feet like a portal, which allowed her to pour waves of energy into my feet. My toes would wiggle from the sensations. This allowed her to send her energy more easily up my body, which would aid in her taking me over. I refer to her as her, even though she's androgynous and can take on both forms of male and female, because the only reason I do this is because she initially presented as female dominant. She would eventually move to placing this cover around my ears, and then she started to break down the barriers surrounding my hands, basically breaking down my protection and connection my astral body has to my physical body, as your astral body feels in the sockets of your physical body. I would often feel a tug on the base of my left hand at the base of my palm. She eventually pulled my left hand and arm astrally out of my physical body sockets, which she needs to do to take away my dominant control over my left hand and arm, to put her left astral hand in so she can have dominant control over my left arm and hand. She then started to try and pull my astral body away from my physical body. Eventually, they will need to pull both arms out of their sockets to take you over completely, so you won't be able to defend yourself. Even though my left hand and arm were pulled out, I could still move my left hand and arm. I just lost range of motion and lost some strength in my arm. She began banging into my body, causing parts of my astral body to burst and pop, leading to more fracturing, as the more they fracture you, the easier it is to take you over, as you have less personal power in your body to resist them. As more time passed, the places she could talk out of my body grew. If you don't go on strong medication early on, or when you first see signs of negative entity attachment, or after you get possessed, they will have too much power to try and take you over very quickly. She then took off the astral skull covering the top of my head, which allowed her to have greater influence over my brain, and eventually would allow her to put astral pins and nails in my brain, which has several effects, and were placed ultimately to be points where she can apply energy and have greater influence over my mind and my dreams. This will feel like your brain is being clenched and you will feel a lot of pressure in your head. Showering and bathing does become harder for some reason, because for some reason when the hot water or the bath or shower goes onto you, it aids in the entities taking over your body for some reason. I don't know why. And talking out of different areas of your body and taking over your arms and legs when possession progresses. Sleeping became impossible as she could catch me between sleep and smack me and stop me from napping. As I have found out early on, napping can create distance between you and them, which will cause them to fade. That's why they want you to sleep as little as possible. So basically, if you sleep more or nap a lot more when they first arrive, it can cause them to fade for some reason. I don't know why though. The entity at this point will try to have sex with you in order to fracture your soul more and limit your personal power and the amount of energy you have. It will make it easier for them to take you over and place the necessary restrictions and implants on you to take you over, as when you are high energy, it's hard to overpower you and place these implants. After having sex with you, they begin to place implants on. They will begin to place implants on your spine, and on your back of your head and in your mouth. These all aid in the later stages of possession. If you are not on a strong medication, the entity will have too much power and begin to take over your legs and arms and make them weak, so it's difficult for you to stand and move them yourself. With enough energy, they will send waves to the back of your head to take the panels off the back of your head, astrally of course, so they can place a plug into your brain, into the base of your brain, and get better access to your heart. They will make your legs susceptible to their movement, which will feel like a tingling and like an electric shock or stimuli could cause it to move. If they have enough energy, they will try and ground into your spine and feet deeper. In time, they will ground deeper into your spine and legs. This will make you feel very heavy in your arms, legs, and feet, like there is a huge weight on you. You will feel them behind you as they root in your spine and feet, and as they assimilate deep into your body. The gravity or magnetism that keeps you in your body will feel wobbly, and you will feel very dizzy as they enter deep into your brain and gain control over you. Your lower back will also get incredibly weak and hurt a lot, limiting your physical activity. As they ground deeper into your body and assimilate into you, the aura of the entity possessing you will begin to exude out of you. For example, in my case, they suppressed the release of my own aura that was heat energy, but as she assimilated, her ice cold aura would come out of me. Her aura feels like a freezer of the cold air that comes off of ice. Almost like she is an endothermic being that absorbs heat and energy, similar to a parasite. While I produce heat and energy exothermically. Your eyes are usually the last place they gain complete control over. As a process of them taking over specific areas of your body occurs, you will feel weight in those specific areas of your body, like they have influence over them, like they are being held. One of the first places they have control over when they possess you is your bowel movements. As possession progresses, they get more control and make it so you have endless diarrhea and can't pass anything solid, and will only let you pass the liquids as they clench your intestinal tract, which is a hellish experience and gives you intense belly aches. They will put an implanted parasite in your navel to make it easier to have control over the energy in your stomach, which can make you feel weak and lifeless. They will quickly gain control over your mouth, not fully, but as progression progresses, they will be able to move your mouth and smile and eventually talk. One of the first things they took control over was my ability to swallow. This was to force me to swallow their astral pills, as when they possess you, the astral pills have a strong effect on you, and to make sure you swallow them and they don't fade away and dematerialize, they force you to swallow them. If you try to go on oral medication to weaken them, they will try over several days to take over your stomach to gain control of your ability to vomit. It will initially start as acid reflux as they try to take control, and then they will take control of your ability to salivate. to help make you throw up. The best defense against them is a depot antipsychotic injection. That's the best way to defend against them, as I have found that oral medications tend to be weaker and don't have as strong as effects as the depot injection. Unless you're on clozapine, which I haven't tried. During this whole process of possession to complete takeover, they will try and suppress your emotions and actively take them away. So you are left confused and find it hard to panic and get help. They will also restrict your ability to articulate and process information as a possession progresses. They will also try to suppress your ability to see and hear them, so that you are less likely to be believed as they take you over. Eventually, you will lose your ability to cry and show anger or any form of rebellion as they reprogram your mind. As possession progresses, they will gain a lot of control over your mind and begin taking away any special abilities and skills you have. You will lose your creativity, your motivation, and your imagination. You will completely lose your intelligence. You will lose all your mental attachments as they destroy you on your deepest layers. They will attempt to rob you of everything you have, physically and mentally, and even take away your conviction to commit suicide. As without emotions and mental states, it's hard to take your own life, especially if you're fearful of death. They will suppress your anxiety and try to leave you with just your addictions, so you continue to give them energy. This is all to ensure they take over your body. They will constantly plot against you. The best defense against them is to go on a strong enough as you can handle antipsychotic depot injection, as I've discussed in other videos, as this will stop you from getting completely possessed and will stop them from having a source of power to take you over. After they use up their main energy, they will weaken. They won't leave your body, but they won't be able to take you over as long as you don't masturbate and give them sexual energy and stay away from hallucinate drugs and alcohol and other hard drugs. If you continue to give them energy while on medication, they will take over your body completely and pull your remaining astral body out of the sockets of your physical body and gain complete control over your body. They will suppress your ability to talk and move your body completely, and you will become like a puppet they use, and that's if they don't put you into a sunken place. They will also gain control of your heart and lungs and become able to kill you. When they do take over your body, they will cause violent harm to yourself, mutilate your own body, and hurt those closest to you. If you catch it at an early stage and go on medication, you can prevent it from getting worse. You don't want it to get to the point where you're forced to commit suicide. In the description of this video, I will try to summarize the video better. Stay safe and Godspeed.